all the events.
Yeah. I'm good. How are you?
Watching football.
Yeah, I was watching.
So
Saturday. Another guy.
I thought it was just okay.
Mistake. But
Yeah. She needs to.
So maybe Kelly.
So yeah, that's all makes sense.
The silent sheet goes up back there.
Oh, they usually put that back there. Hey, Bill. Hey, how you feeling? Yeah, feeling funky. Yeah. You got it. Oh, I was just, I think I was honestly, emotionally just drained. Oh, yeah. I felt sick to my stomach. I just sat down in my chair and just went like this.
So, but what I did.
I mean, it's like,
You did?
yeah. I don't know how to say it, but the next day I was the same way. And I've been that way ever since. So I don't know. Yeah, exactly. You know, it's not outer space. This place doesn't look. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, Susan.
Hey. Hey, Steve. Went through this. And can't talk about it. So if we could just say we have some mistakes, you know, we can that on stand up budget. On support, and staff to and so he said,
I put down, I reflect what I said.
I know, well, what they said, and then, but I let him do it because I asked, you know, but I don't want this to be on record, say, we can't budget, so, okay, I just want to let you know.
That's fine.
Absolutely, yeah, I don't mind the truth, but the truth is.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you? Or.
Yeah, I didn't have to golf today, so I didn't have much. Yeah,
I wanted to. Yeah, it's too busy. Everybody's coming for Thanksgiving and I am totally unprepared for that. I gotta get home and clear out the guest bedroom and by my guests arriving at 8, do laundry, do dishes. And
Yeah.
I've been a bad bachelor. It's how you
And so. Yeah, so I know. But yeah, but it was just, it was if you could ask everyone's number, serve on the same class, the time watching I like to I like
Oh, shit. I guess so. All right. Since Bill took my corner. Well, I was waiting to see where you're gonna set me. Oops, sorry.
Comment cards, they want to sign up for stuff to talk.
Oh, okay. There you go. Oh, and Bill, we are approving, but yeah, the way it is. Yeah. So hopefully nobody will freak out. And the other part, that's a separate discussion. It's kind of separate. Yeah. As long as the funds add up. That's all we want. I can't. I've got to vote. Oh, no, we're not even bringing that part up. Good. So that's not even a discussion. Yeah, no, we're all good. I don't think that needs discussion. Oh, that's our discussion. That's what we'll discuss. And a lot of that is David Goldstein too. Right. So what he'll do is I'm going to have him just produce us with a pro forma, and then we'll go from there. So we shouldn't have any problems. I can provide you guys all of the homework. Perfect. No, I think everything will be fine. Okay. Let me see. Do I have? I got to put Dave Stanley in.
Does Dave know?
David is up coming in right now.
Did he know?
He's connected to the audio. Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, no. I think all of us will really, because they did do, Okay. Well, I think we're ready.
Oh, this is the rules.
What's that?
Stanley goes to.
Yeah. All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. 3:01. We need to do the pledge. Larry, would you mind leading us? You got it. To the flag of the United States of America. To the republic. One nation. All right, I'd like to thank all you guys for coming out on a Sunday. We have a special meeting. We need to approve the budget today and get that moving along. It's important that we get that postmarked prior to 11:30, and so we need to get that thing going. And with the Thanksgiving holidays and everything, it would have been much more difficult to be able to get this to happen. So anyways, let's go ahead and we'll get moving. Approval of board meeting minutes with Steve Ekstrand.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to approve the open session meetings of October 29th, 2022. I've been alerted to an issue in the executive session minutes, so I'd like to table that to our next open meeting to approve. There's nothing going to be affected by that. So,
Gotcha.
So just approving of the October 29th open session.
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, nay? Okay, they're approved. At this point in time, we have member comments. If anybody would like to make any comments about anything in particular.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. All right, Richard. Oh,
My name's Richard Cree, and my wife and I have been full-time members here, and we're grateful to be a part of this community. Love it here. But I wanted to talk today about the shade structure for our maintenance yard for our golf equipment. We have over $450,000 worth of fixed assets in the form of golf equipment in our maintenance yard. Every day, when the workers' day is over, the maintenance crew end up parking their equipment outside in the open without protection from the sun, rain, freezing weather, or anything. In April of 2018, over 4 years ago, I was the chair of the Green Committee, and the shade structure for the maintenance yard was a priority project. The committee then worked with the general manager at the time and Raphael, and we identified the site and size of the shade structure that was that we were going to recommend. We obtained the bids as required and presented it RFCA to the board for approval. And they tabled the motion. And they, in their ultimate wisdom, like the project, but they wanted to make the structure enclosed bigger and maybe a mezzanine so they could use it for storage. And they wanted to put a solar panel set up for the top of the roof. Needless to say, 4 years later, it's still not done. And the costs have gone up remarkably, over 100% from the original proposal. Committees can only do so much. The success of this project must come from the board, I believe. We don't need an enclosed structure for our equipment. We need a shade structure. We don't need solar panels and enclosures with insulation and water systems and that. We need a shade structure. It's my recommendation that the board instruct the Green Committee to present a firm estimated price for approval, then have the committee get the required bids and finalize this project. We have built shade structures for our pumping stations. That was an emergency. Well, I think the equipment detection shade structure is also an emergency. Not taking action to protect our golf equipment is irresponsible. It would be as if you were to purchase a brand new Mercedes, $100,000 Mercedes Benz for the family, and parking it in the street every night. Thank you.
yes. Do we have any other comments at this time?
Hi, I'm Sandy Schofield. I live at 9180 Clubhouse Boulevard, and forgive me, I came unprepared. But after listening to Richard, I'm kind of alarmed. I'm sitting behind a new pump that makes extreme piercing noise. I've watched everybody out there diligently putting on a temporary shelter. Temporary shelter. I can't live in my house for 4 years waiting for that noise to be fixed. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
You've done a good job. It looks beautiful. It still screams from 10:30 at night until probably about 8:30 in the morning. I still can't open my doors and windows. My cat won't go outside. And those of you that think stringing that lake with fishing line is helping the ducks, guess what? The noise has done that. I have picture history for 7 years. Listen to me, picture history of these ducks coming in mid-November. And I've seen them fly over, land and leave. And it's not because of the wires. I've watched them all get by the wires last year and any other thing that has gone on. That noise has kept my cat in the house and it's kept the birds away from my patio. So 4 years is not acceptable. Can we get on top of a acoustic engineer to make sure that the temporary is gonna work?
I know that they're presently working on that, as I said.
That's
Thank
all
you.
I ask.
Okay, any other member comments? Then let's go ahead and slip into the general manager's report.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm gonna start with the pool heater issues down at the pool. Richard's been working with different vendors to try to figure out our issues with the pool heater. Heater works fine. We've got some water pressure issues, and if I don't want to say because we're newbies, Richard and I, but it's very complex pool area down there. We've had about 5 or 6 vendors in here to take a look at it and try to figure out how to get these heaters running. We have sort of boiler heaters down there, so it needs the right pressure getting to these heaters. He believes he's found the right vendor to get us back up and running. ETA with the holidays next week. I'm not sure it'll be done by next week, but we do have the vendor. We have the deposit down. So hopefully here in the next week and a half, we'll have the pool heaters back up and running. So Art, he's we put out a little email. He's going to do some stretching classes in the jacuzzi. God love him. Someone also brought up sent us an email of maybe asking the condos if we can use their pools for class. That would be a thing. I'll talk to the property manager down there. That's something we could do. So, but anyways, I know it's been a heartache for a lot of people, and it's a heartache for us too as well. But we'll get to the bottom of it.
It won't be open for the holiday.
Probably not.
Okay.
But it's open. But it's
Well,
75 degrees. It's, conducive. I'm going to start off with the financial overview. With overseeding going on in October, pro shop closed, dining facilities closed for maintenance, and for the month we budgeted for a negative $50,975, and we came at a negative $66,742, with a difference of $15,770 over budget. Some of these items were a timing issue, as well as we opened the same a little earlier than budgeted for. For the month of October, expenses were $4,630 over budget, and revenue was $11,140 under budget. Food and beverage, we were negative $12,535 over budget. We continued to offer Monday Night Football, as well as, like, once again, I said, we opened up a week earlier. We had some staff training, and we had some extra things that weren't budgeted in last year's budget. So a lot of that was payroll. Golf shop closed for overseeding. They were $1,520 over budget. G&A, we were $5,765 better than budget for the month of October. Golf maintenance was $7,851 better than budget. Clubhouse, we over budgeted by $19,940. Some of this was the timing issues budgeted in other months for things we did in October. But for the most part, that was a bad month in there. A lot of it is under the service contract. So, and the fact that we opened a week earlier in the clubhouse, we didn't budget for a lot of the electrical things like that upstairs. The inn continues to do quite well. There were $3,310 better than budget. Pool and rec, there were $1,300 better than budget. For the year, at the end of October, we budgeted for a negative $24,107 through October, and we are at $125,487 better than budget at the end of October. For the reserves, for the month of October, we spent $35,270. That left our total in the reserve account at $2,432,800. And just a reminder, including in this total is a loan due to reserves in the amount of $372,693. So that's sort of an overview of our financials for the month of October. Food and beverage happenings. Well, we have our Thanksgiving buffet starting at 11 a.m. this Thursday with 137 reservations so far. Monday Night Football continues. December 8th, we have theater night. Holiday golf cart parade will take place on December 11th. And the MLCC holiday party will be on the 17th of December. And it will end the month with the New Year's Eve party on the 31st. 88 restrooms. It's only been a couple weeks since our last meeting, but they have done quite a lot over there. Restrooms are getting closer to the finish line. Water was hooked up on Thursday. One of the sink shower fixtures should be installed this week. The board will soon, and very soon, will be discussing the parking lot plans and fencing around the restrooms. Without the parking lot, the county won't sign off and let us use that restroom. So the board will be talking about that here soon. Opening party. I hope all enjoyed the opening weekend. It was a busy 2 days for staff and all the volunteers, but we had a good turnout and members seemed to enjoy the festivities. Plans are being discussed for next year's opening party, as well as maybe a similar community gathering in May during Memorial Weekend, or even on July 4th. So plans are being put together on that. And then I'll go right into the comment cards for the month. Thank you for keeping Ellen's yoga class for a non-golfing member. It's a wonderful offering. Yoga, the class was great. When will the MLCC website be updated with correct info? Not everyone has Facebook. So just so you know where we're at with our website, we have a different website person that takes care of our website, and Jonas is going to be taking it over come January 1st. So we are working with Jonas to build our new website. Right now, we're just trying to transfer everything over that's on the website onto the new website. Communication committee will take a look at it and review it, see what they want, kind of changes and all that. But as of hopefully by end of December, we should have a new website posted moving forward. We produced this website to make it more user friendly. Okay. Please put committee descriptions back into accessible to members. It's in the board policy manual now. Please ask your vendors not to park or block the handicap spots, especially at our events. Good point. And that is it for comment cards.
Okay, thank you, Eric. We have committee reports. Basically, the ACC committee. What I did was I had, if you look on the back of your agenda sheet, just a lot of times people don't understand what happens with the compliance portion of the ACC. So I just had this added on there. It's pretty self-descriptive, but basically it just states how this process works. And I just wanted to make it to where our members were aware of how that works. You get a warning notice. Basically, if you don't take care of that, then it goes to a violation, and last would go to an expedited hearing. And we really don't want people to have to go through all that. Just pretty much follow the rules, take care of your property. If you do get a warning notice, just take care of it as soon as you can, and that's it. It's pretty much all we have on ACC. Is there anybody with condo information?
On Friday, they had their annual meeting on Friday, and I attended that, but that was
Yeah, I had heard they were. Okay.
Is there a status on the substation that has been discussed the last couple of board meetings?
so there's no update to it. It's just not got to be the right person to talk to. That's what they said.
Thank you.
All right. Finance and credit. Bill.
Thank you. Okay, welcome everyone. It's going to be an exciting day. But we'd like to start off the Finance and Credit Committee with my motion to approve checks over 1,000 for operation and reserve accounts for the month of October 2022.
I'll second that.
Okay. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Okay. They're approved.
I move to approve the finance and credit reports for October 2022.
I'll second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay?
Uh, I move to consider RFCA. We're calling it 2022A, which is actually a general ledger number 8619-05, and the amount of $5,000 for the emergency mainland floor drain clog. The grease buildup that has been hardened for over the years, so it's hardened up and caused the drain. The supplier, the clog. The supplier is Roto-Rooter, and again, the amount is $5,000.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, nay? Okay,
We did have another RSCA that was in our original, if y'all went to the Finance and Credit Committee meeting, we tabled it. And that was for 5 new air conditioning ducts and I guess air handlers and outside units. And it's been tabled because we're looking at some alternative methods of achieving even a more efficient and a better solution for the club. Today we use old existing ducting, which was added, below us in days past used to be a cart barn, and so they had to bring in different ducting that's that's probably 70 years old at this time, so 50 years old. Sorry.
Yeah.
Anyway, just want to let you know what happened to that RFCA. This RFCA is RFCA 2022-05. Or B, I should say. It's General Ledger 8611-05. It is for a section of the carpet in the downstairs and replacing the carpet going up the stairs. We had to cut out the existing floor in the downstairs lobby to do the plumbing work for the drain repair. The amount is $6,200, and the vendor is KBS flooring. Carpet Empire, sorry, Carpet Empire.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
okay, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? All right,
I would like to take the opportunity to speak about this year's activities in the Finance and Credit Committee. And I'm very proud of being involved with that committee, and to bring to your attention all of the successes that we achieved this year. We actually started working on a budget enhancement program, if you will. We created a subcommittee from the main finance committee, and the whole objective of that committee was to develop a new way of processing the budget and putting a timeline in place and putting specific activities that need to be accomplished. And that was started in March, end of March, and was completed sometime in June. The first part of that the process was to the treasurer, the general manager, and the controller were to put together benchmarking, try to measure what's going on in our type of industry, what are our food costs, and try to develop COLAs and PPIs and the utility costs and insurance premiums, and try to put that together in some sort of a meaningful basket of costs and opportunities, and present that to the board. And then the board has also downloaded their goals and objectives that they wanted to achieve during this year. And I'd like to read those to you. And those were to be incorporated in all of our thinking in the budget process. Number one is to provide the best solution for the payoff of the union pension loan. Number two is to increase our reserve funds to become fully funded, which means that, not sure the exact percentage, but it's around 49% of our total value means to be fully funded. And that's hard to do, and that will be in the, in the, as values go up, of course, that changes. So that's going to be in the close to the $5 million range. So included in that is to be have prudent reductions in our unneeded spending. We need to focus on spending on items that we need to be replaced. And then, of course, the union pension loan, that money goes back into the freely into the reserve. Number three is provide sufficient operating funds for our operating budget. We have for years, in my time anyway, we've always going through. It's a zero-based budget. Let's start with that. And so we don't have extra money. We don't have, and if we don't receive our dues and members don't pay their dues, we don't have any extra money to pay bills that aren't expected during that month. So we have to borrow occasionally. Now we have a 5% target of our expenses to be held in our over our expenses to be held in our operating fund, and that is to take advantage of paying our bills on time and not having to worry about people not paying their dues. And so that is it's a fund as if you would have in your own checking account. We need to have an operating fund. So that's one of the things that we were working on as well. What it does, it eliminates us from borrowing from reserve to meet these expense obligations, such as seed. When a seed bill comes in, it's $100,000. Well, at the end of this month, I think, Eric, what do we have in our operating? 96,000 in budget. So there you go. So you can't pay that bill. So you have to push it out. If you push it out, it goes in the next month. And so that's how we get into those tough situations. Our controller really spends a lot of time trying to manage that and pay our bills. We bring all our accounts within the terms and conditions. That's the idea of having that cash flow. That's what that 5% number about is. To eliminate CODs on delivery from suppliers. I mean, we've had to go out here with checks in our hand and pay Cisco so they give us the food. Not that long ago, right?
They asked
we
me
want
for a
discount. We want discounts because we're going to pay. If they're going to give us discounts because we're paying within 10 days, 15 days. Fine, we want to get that. And then, of course, we want to allow the controller to operate and better operate the funds. And then we want to create and fund the capital account for new projects. So we talk about this stage structure. That's a classic example. We don't have one dime anywhere to pay for that stage structure. So the idea of having a capital account allows us to, on smaller projects, to pay for the investigations, some architect work and those sorts of things, and smaller projects like the parking lot out here, we would just pay for it. It's a new project. The money would come out of that fund. So, and then the last thing was we wanted to develop a budget that allows the department managers to be intimately involved in its development to the level that they understand that they're accountable for every part of their budget. And what that does then, it allows the GM to implement or employee performance expectations, do the measurements, develop corrective actions, and employee development. So those are kind of there's five main things that are trying to be baked into this budget process. So we started this, and it starts in the middle of July. And the idea of this whole schedule was to have our budget complete by the end of October. in our October financial meeting so that we would give the board a whole month to work on that. Last year, the budget went to the board November 9th. This year, the final budget went to the board November 9th. And as long as I know, that's just what's been happening over the past few years. So that is what we originally was planned. This year, we thought there was going to be some very large increases in a number of areas, insurance and those sorts of things. So we waited for those quotes to come in because they were very sizable. So we went through this process, and we voted on November 4th. We voted on all of the departments except for GNA and our final pro forma. And I need to share with you. We started the budget process, and in our meeting on the September 2nd, we had done a lot of work, and we rolled up the monthly dues. In the pro forma, it was $473, which is $77 increase from what we are paying today. On the 4th of September, we had worked, that's only a couple days, and we had worked, and we removed, we got it down to a $47 increase, and the dues were at $443. On the 12th, we realized that we didn't account for some things that we had taken out and went back up to $473. And then on the 21st of November, September, it was down to $452, a $56 increase. And the next one was, and at that time we started thinking about what is the best way to retire that loan that we have. And when you think about that, the way we've been paying off these loans is that we've been taking those out of the operating funds. But if you owe $100 on an invoice, you have to take $129 from the members to pay for that $100, because 23% of that goes into reserve. So in order to pay that $100, you have to pay $129. It's good for the reserves, but it's not so good for the members that have to pay just to pay these bills. So we started evaluating the dirty word assessment, and soon found out that the dirty word assessment is really the best way to save our members a lot of money. So in this case, we created two performance. One was to amortize the payments over 2 years, and that came up with a budgetary number. And then we took out the amortized, the payments for that loan, and we just did a flat assessment. So what we did then, that started in November 21st. So we went from 452 in monthly dues, and if we were to pay that loan off with an assessment, it would drop it down to 434. Well, we weren't there yet. 3 or 4 more meetings. On 11/15, the pro forma was finally down to $426, which is $30 over what we pay today. And there's a one-time assessment of $328.33. Now that could either be paid for in a check first of the year, or you can pay for it over the first 6 months. And there's some other discussions about that as well. So that is what that this board is going to vote on today. It was just a very arduous process. I can't tell you how many hours that I personally put in, but that means that we have equal number of hours put in with our key players. We had a couple subcommittees that also were hired. One was, I'll say hired. We took them aside, and we needed number crunchers, and so we did a lot of number crunching. We did a lot of analysis. We did a lot of data mining. We went down to the pro shop, and Steve actually helped with some going through the whole year's rounds of golf and who played them and what, and how many carts they used and who had what carts, and it's a lot of work went into this. And of course, we worked very hard with David Goldstein. You know, it's actually his budget, so he's very, very keen on making a profit. And there's only 3 profit centers here. You know, we got our dues, we got the inn, and we've got the golf shop. So if in order to get this budget down, we needed to have the pro shop contribute fairly significantly. For example, GNA group insurance, the change from the 22 budget to our budget, it's 74% increase. It's a big number. I didn't print out the other one, but the equipment leases, advertising, wages and salary was actually not as bad. It's actually pretty well managed. Gas and oil in 25%, fertilizer 17%. The water pumping, the electricity for it went up 24%. And we spent a lot of money. And basically, 217,000 in 2022, 269,000 for 2023. So we had some serious headwinds here, and we think we brought together a winning solution, and I hope you all support it, because it was unbelievable amount of work to do it. And I like you to understand who was on the committee. Susan Rumsauer and Steve Ekstrom. Those are my picks from the board. Those are board members. Chester Hobbs, Connie Presson, Jack Peterson, Jim Smitham, Andy Carney, Courtney Moe, Mary Kay Moore, Shelley Daly, Judy Grant, Gail Williams, and myself. David Goldstein, David Cadillo, and Eric Charles were intimately involved with all of this, as well as Raphael. And so when you see these people, just say, hey, you know, thanks a lot. It's a lot of work. So anyway, that's I know I have more to say, but I just wanted to touch base and let you know that it was a long, hard fought year, including in this, by the way, we had a on-site meeting September was 8th, 9th, and 10th. No, 8th, 9th,
Yes.
嗯哼，
7th, 8th, and 9th. And I flew down, and we had full-time meetings all day long. And and then we had a wrap-up meeting on the Friday, which we thought was only going to be an hour or so. And then, of course, it lasted till the wee hours. But it was all in good intent. And like I said, please say thank you to those people. That's all I have.
Great, thank you. Yeah, it's hard to believe with the economy going up the way it is. It's only about a 7.5% increase in dues. That's pretty darn good.
Yeah, I didn't say that, but it is 7.5% increase.
That's
in
pretty darn
in
good.
dues, and we're looking at 20% increases. That's
Exactly.
Can I make one very short comment? Because we praised the committee, and I have in the past, this was a great budget. For that subcommittee, if it's still next year doing with the project before we get to the budget time, I'd like to see if there's some way that we can add a little buffer of time in there where we can maybe have a final, the committee makes their recommendations, has the committee vote, and then have the committee present it to the board in open session that is a working session, not to approve the budget from the board's point of view, but for the board then to hear the committee's recommendations and ask questions and have concerns or comments. One extra step to try to prevent this, last minute kind of feeling that some board members have that it's a rubber stamp. I mean, I know.
Yeah, no, I
timing is
agree.
different.
I agree, and that's why we did this. That's why we developed the schedule, so it would be done in October, and we would have a whole month to work on this. But when it got down to short strokes,
yeah,
these cost drivers were a couple $300,000. Well, guess what? That's $30 to do for everybody.
we're not
And
too
so all of a
complicated.
sudden, our best laid plans, we had to change them, and just because of that, it's just,
I just, with my comments to the board that were taken a little bit harshly, I just want to throw that out there. I want to defend the board a little bit, to try to get some time to be able to make a thoughtful evaluation.
Appreciate
I
that.
think what we struggled with is that, there's over 7,500 line items. And we went through every line item 5, 6, 7 times. And sometimes you go back and you go, well, that's not gonna work. Eric would come back, the department manager would come back, we can't do that. So we'd have to go back and put it back in, and then we'd have to look someplace else. And that's what we did. And I was thinking of something else that I didn't say earlier. But I'll think of it, of course, when I'm done. But yes, what we really wanted to do is it's trying to. If we had these meetings recorded, I think that would be the best thing, because there's so much information. There's so much that changes on a daily basis. But the meeting before the 4th, when we voted on all of the department's approval, we had a 2-page list of items that we were checking on, making sure they were incorporated. I don't know if you remember that, but it was quite a detailed list. It's very, very hard. Chester, you remember? So.
All right, well, let's move on to the golf committee. And looks like Shelley Daly.
Looks like
She looks a lot like Shelley Daly.
And there is asked me
Later.
Okay, the Memorial Tournament was a great success. We had almost 100 players participate in that tournament. Remember, the Memorial Tournament honors all our members that have passed in this season. And we'd like to thank David Goldstein and his crew, F&G, and their staff, along with all of you that participated in that tournament. It was a great success. The membership scramble that was held this past Friday had 50 players, and since David's been here, he has not had 50 players in a Friday scramble. So this was really good. And we had 9 new MLCC members without handicaps, some just learning, some trying to figure it out, who I want to call. And we had 9 new members participate in that. So they were kind of spread out over the groups. Congrats to all the winners, because it was a pretty good sized pot and quite a cash. And a special welcome to Rona Lauren and Jimmy Kay, who won the memberships to WGA. So it was a great success. About tournaments. If you cannot participate in a tournament, notify the golf shop prior to the start of the tournament. We have 3 no-shows on Friday. And that left 3 teams short of the player, which was not well done by that. So David had to kind of scramble, tell them they would have to take a shot, alternate that through. We understand emergencies occur, but if possible, let the golf shop know that you cannot attend, so that we can scramble, hopefully, for another player, or try to figure out how to regroup and prior to the start of the tournament. Coming up next month will be the MGA WGA members tournament. The MGA tournament is scheduled for December 7th, 4th. And the WGA tournament is December 10th to 11th. As always, please sign up on Chelsea no later than the Wednesday before the tournaments. This is also a reminder to all WGA members that our annual Christmas luncheon will be held on that Sunday, December 11th. And for the ladies not playing in the tournament, remember you're a WGA member, please sign up on the golf shop. And this crew will have a sign-up sheet that you're going to attend the luncheon. Want to make sure all our ladies are there. Julian and I met with David Goldstein, and we have set the parameters for the President's Cup in January. The date for the start of this tournament are January 14th and January 15th, starting at 9 a.m. That way we avoid any cross delays and be the first out there for those that are playing next. This will be a combined event. Last year, we only had 14 women and 15 men. So I'm hoping to get 16 women and so have the same amount. So if we have the right numbers, we can make this without any buys. Trying to avoid the buys, which was a problem last year. Please look for an email blast regarding the signups, the costs, and qualifications for both events. Finally, we have a name for our February 2023 event. This was talked about in the golf committee January, February, and when you know, people that were on the golf committee know exactly what we were talking about. Everybody wants a Sadie Hawkins. Everybody wants a Valentine's sweetheart tournament. Well, there's so many weekends in the month of February. February 12th is Super Bowl Sunday, which we're never going to scratch off. That is a well-attended one. So we just temporarily called it Sadie Hawkins, February 25th. That now is going to be called a couples mixer. So a girl can ask a guy, play with your spouse or your significant other, or you can just find anybody you want to play with. So two girls can play together, two guys can play together, and you can group by your handicap. So it'll be a couples mixer. We're going to kind of find that in. Just trying to find something that fits in what members wanted. Can't have 4 tournaments because we're getting ready. We'll still have the President's Cup finishing up, and then we're going to be starting Club Championship and Senior Club Championship. There's not enough Saturdays and Sundays. And as always, please prepare your ball marks on the greens. It was pretty interesting on our second day of play on that Sunday, November 5th or 6th. There were a lot of ball marks. They were all members. It's like, so stand and see because it's our course, like to keep it. So I thank you. And I want to thank Steve for coming to a lot of these concerns, especially when we talk about the February couples mixer. So stay tuned for more information on that, that we're addressing members' concerns and trying to make it.
All right. Okay, Green Committee, Bill.
All right, we did speak briefly about that noise abatement issue with the pumps. Eric, could you comment on the status of the next steps? I know there's ongoing work, but I don't know the current status.
So we did have a company out on that Friday, discussing some things we can do more to keep the noise in there, some kind. The one Homer keeps mentioning, it's a frequency thing that happens at 10 o'clock. We have the motor itself pretty good. I mean, it's hard to hear it, but there is a pitch that we're still working on. But we did have a company out on Friday. We discussed some better paneling that we have on the sides of the building. Different types of ways to put it up so it doesn't look like it's a homeless shelter. But so we are still working on it. But I think we've been looking at this, but it's this pitch or frequency.
So is the noise emanent from the motor or
The pump.
it is
No, from the main pump house. That's what they.
it's from the
That's what we're working on, and not from the. We think it's from the booster pump, but we still think it's a pitch that some people can hear it. That it's when it winds up at 10 o'clock or 7 o'clock. Our pumps come on at 7:30 and it winds up, and I guess it winds up pretty hard, and then it.
so there's a motor driving the pump. So is it the motor that's making the noise?
I don't know how you look at it. I think it's the pressure of the water building up to send out to the golf course, but I don't know if that's the pump or the motor, but it's a frequency that's bugging a lot of people. But I think we have helped out with the noise of the whole operation. Just we're trying to get to the bottom of the pitch.
You,
I want to invite everybody to my patio at any time they want to come when they talk.
Yeah.
Because inside my patio, it's louder than it is when I go to my fence beyond my swimming. It's even less loud if I go outside my fence and get on the golf.
Hmm.
So I'd like to invite anybody that's going to come to my house at 5 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, 5:45, or anytime after 7:30. You're all welcome. Just sit on my patio and listen just briefly. Because it seems to me we haven't had a lot of this noise for the last 3 days, from 12:30 to 7:30 at all during the day. Thank you for that. I don't know why that is, but you're all welcome. 9180 Clubhouse.
Okay,
I had some other comments, and I also might be able to, I have a lifetime of experience with hydraulic attenuators, hydraulic noise, working with anechoic chambers, sound measurement devices, all of this stuff, and it's really hard to find the source and correct the source of some of these sound generators. It's very hard. Anyway, the Zeroscape project, there was 2 suppliers came in, one on Thursday, one on Friday, looked at the different areas, talked about the different types of stone that would be used. I attended the one on Thursday, but not on Friday, so I'm not sure what the status of that was, but it's underway. One of the stumbling blocks that, at least from my perspective, is Mission Springs Water District has not approved their 50% of the funding yet. That don't seem to think that's going to be a problem, but so far, no word. The Desert Water Association has approved, and we have till end of April. Is that correct? April 22nd. Okay, to finish that project, they have a 6-month window. So, that's all I have.
okay. House Committee, Wendy Scott.
New. At this time of November, for Thanksgiving, it's a time for reflecting. And so I would like to thank those who are here for us. And I would like to say thank you to our board for the time and effort throughout the past year. And especially after what you said today, Bill, finance today. You guys are, I don't know what it's gonna go up, but I just
Sorry.
but I know it's going up, and I know how hard you guys have worked, and I appreciate that. I know that serving on the board is never fast, but I know that you have tried to keep everyone happy. And as Abraham Lincoln was accredited the same, never these all of the time. I appreciate how much you try and support the efforts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
The House Committee this month was diligently working on providing a memorable event for not only our opening day, but for our anniversary. We had wonderful feedback from many members, and we have had several comments that said this was the best MLCC event they have ever attended. The 50th anniversary edition of the MLCC history is available online in email or Kindle version and hard copy. Or it's not hard copy, paperback. For $10, paperback or in Kindle. We will also carry paperback copies in the member relations office for purchase at $10. And Eric is checking to see whether or not that will be a cash sale or if you decide to bill. But there are copies in there. To date, we have made $219.45 in sales. Some of the flooring bids were approved today, specifically for the stairway and downstairs entryway, and we continue to work on flooring the upstairs. We have an update on Ollie. Ollie, whatever.
We discussed after the holidays doing something up here in January.
Okay. We are looking forward to making some updates in 2023 to the in-rooms, which also includes some artwork that is needed. And one of our members, Greg Stark, is interested in, and says he's not interested in making like a you can check out his photography on Facebook and else. We are currently working on the employee Christmas party. An invitation to donate towards employee gifts was requested, I believe, for the November bill. And so please consider donating to the employees that work to make our lives fun and as we live here today. We are looking into a catering company that can provide a great meal that they can't get at home, such as a chocolate. They like prime rib just like we do. I don't know if that's gonna happen. The House Committee wishes all of you and the board a happy holiday season. All of our, not limited to just Thanksgiving, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. What did I leave out? We hope to join us for our year celebration. 2020.
All right, thank you. Let's see, member communications, would be Sam Lancaster.
I'm sorry. Okay, well, we had a very good meeting, lot of discussion. We're working on redesigning the newsletter for easier reading for everybody. We have some older clientele with us, and maybe the font should be a little bit bigger, these types of things, all right? Also, I'd like to make a reminder to all the committees that after you have your meetings, if you would, within 72 hours of that meeting, send us over your notes or your synopsis, if you will, so we can proofread it and get it to Aaron so it's all set up for our newsletter. It's really important that that 72-hour window is kind of taken care of. Yeah, if it's going to go a little longer, that's okay. But if everything comes in at the end of the month, we're scrambling. And we have a new member on our committee, Sandra Rodriguez, who's a champ at proofreading, okay, and editing if there is edits that need to be made. We're also working on members' profiles, trying to update all of our members' profiles. Part of the problem we have is we have two forms of database, if you will. We have Constant Contact and we have Jonas. Now we want to go with Jonas, and that's going to be our website very shortly. They're the ones that are developing it. We formed a subcommittee that's going to be led by Dan Buccino. Dan is a whiz at computers, and we'd like to maybe get with you, Eric, and Jonas, so we can tailor how that website should look for everybody's use. Okay. Getting back to the members' profiles, we're going to update that. There's some members that just have one email on, and they get. That's one of mine. I get email after email after email of happenings up here at the club. My wife Lori gets none. I don't know why, but maybe that's the Jonas Constant Contact problem that we have. So we're working on ways of trying to actually merge the two. Also, we want to get both, as I say, both emails so we can kind of get it out and for kids, people with families in here, our demographics have really changed. We've got a lot of kids in here now. In the very near future, I know that we're going to have like some little junior golf program type of things, maybe a pickleball, that to introduce them to those things, swimming, whatever it might be. And we'd like to get that communication out to the families. I've already gone over the subcommittee that we're using. That's going to be updated. Oh, in January, we're going to have a contest to name the newsletter. There's going to be a prize involved for the winner. It's going to be a good prize. So keep that in mind, if you will. Right? Just keep reading. It'll come. Watch for the details. And from the Members Communication Committee, happy holidays.
Thank you.
Can we back up to finance real fast? There was somebody that didn't get in the agenda. We have a new member, finance committee.
Oh, sure.
We talked
If you have
about it
no
on,
objection.
Right, right.
meeting, but it didn't get on the agenda. That you asked them, sorry.
Yeah.
There was we have a new application for a finance committee, and we talked about putting it on the agenda in our agenda meeting on Tuesday. It didn't get on there. Last month it didn't. He wasn't approved. So if it's okay with everyone, can we add it to the agenda? Approve this?
Are there any members that object to that? Adding this to the meeting? Okay, let's go ahead.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to approve Michael Anasimlov to the Finance and Credit Committee. He's retired. He's moved here. He spends a lot of time with his kids in LA, but he's looking for something to keep himself busy.
You picked the right committee.
And I told him he found a home.
It's okay. I'll second that.
Okay.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, let's move on to Neighborhood Watch. Jaime. Well, no, Neighborhood Watch would be.
Oh, yeah,
Did you
no,
want to?
there's no update on that.
Nothing on that? Okay. Then cops would be Larry Caribou.
Ron? I want to thank Shelley for her 6 minutes. It was very good. I'm going to try and be less than that. When she used to be the president, she used to only give me 3 minutes or less. So I'm trying to get you back. Okay. Larry Carvey, captain of our Citizens on Patrol. We had like four persons patrolling in October. We had several that were out for medical reasons, and we now have 8 regular patrollers now, and we have a new lady that moved into the condos I think a couple months ago, and she's already was a member of COP back at the other side of Riverside, so she's going to be able to come on board. But her husband just had a heart attack, so she can't start right now. So anyway, it's good. So we have for the last 10 and almost 10 3/4 years, we've put on 103,948 miles patrolling the Mission Lakes. On Halloween, party that was out here in the parking lot, there was like, I think Eric already talked about this, but it was well attended, and we had one of our ladies going over here assisting as needed in the parking lot. And then one of my other guys and I, we patrolled that evening out there, and there's a lot of trick-or-treaters. They came here and then they went down and filled up the other Spyglass and Warwick and all them. So anyway, And the craft fair, was, we had a nice setup there. I want to thank, Elizabeth LaBelle for setting it up. The display that we had, and she did a really nice job, I thought. And, but I was at duty over there to nationals, pickleball nationals over there that day. So anyway, we signed up 2 new members, which was great. So hopefully they'll be attending our next meeting and get them on board. On the 15th, we had our Coachella Valley group that we formed about 4 years ago, and this was all the cities of like Indio and Rancho Mirage, Palm Springs, Thermal, all the way. We formed this, but yeah, like 4 years ago. Anyway, we had we do a yearly meeting, and we had like Sheriff Bianca go speaking, who was a very good speaker, and we had a couple of DAs speaking, and it was well attended, about 40 people from all the different units. So it was really good. On our patrol car, we seem to have taken care of our rodent problems right now, so we're going to attempt to put our car back up on the hill here, up in our spot. So we talk about a few of the incidents. Garage doors still being found open, but not too many. We had a large white pickup that was speeding radically, well, yeah. And they were being followed by one of our patrol cars. But as soon as they saw the patrol car, they split off at high speed, heading towards Desert Hot Springs. Anyway, we kind of chased another one out of the way. So anyway, there was be on the lookout for a white Tesla. The license number 8MI S985. This person was pounding on this person's door over here on Hoy Lake around 10, 11 o'clock at night and told her, open your door, open your door. She kept saying, who is this? And they wouldn't. They just kept banging on the door. But she had her ring thing on. She saw the car, and she saw there was 3 other people in it. Anyway, they finally took off. Anyway, just kind of be on the lookout for a white Tesla that might not be belong here and might be problems. Anyway, then I had Diane Beard reported to me that 3 of her barrel catches were stolen out in the front yard. I also heard it from like next door too, that there's other ones here that were being taken here and Mission Lakes as well. So I guess I don't know who's taking them, but they're I guess I don't know how they protect them. Our officer Austin, who was attending our meeting, reported a break-in on one of the cars here. I haven't gotten that report. And anyway, there's a record number of telephone calls being made to homes, people fraudulent calls trying to get people to donate money. And some of it's $1,000. So just be aware. Had a call today from someone, we're on La Hochmont, where a person's golf cart smashed into their pottery and hit the corner of their garage door and kind of knocked the beam off about like 2 inches. Apparently he might have been under the influence. Anyway, sheriff was contacted. Anyway, this happened a couple of nights ago. I went to talk to him, and he told me that he didn't know what time it happened. Then his neighbor had their cameras on, so they saw kind of the whole thing. And anyway, he kind of put it on the Facebook page or something, but person come back and voluntarily told him that she was the one that did it, and she's going to pay for the damages. So anyway, well taken care of. So the insurance company's involved. They just wanted to report it to our citizens on patrol as well, so for the record. Other than that, next meeting is going to be on December 13th at 1:30. You're all welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Larry. So we have Pool and Rec, and that would be Susan Rumtower.
Okay, there's just a couple things that the pool and rec discussed. We talked about the holiday cart parade, which Dan Follett and his wife will be the coordinators on that. That'll be Sunday, December 11th, and the judges will be the board members again, and prizes will be awarded by MLCC. The hiking club, Bethany Smith has agreed to coordinate that with Annie Hess as her assistant. The hikes will be on the third Saturday of the month, with the first hike taking place on December 17th. Location and time they're going to work on. The holiday house decorating contest will be on Sunday, December 18th. And the judges are going to be Kim and Annie, Bethany, and Holly, if she's here in town with us. And once again, Eric has agreed to contribute the prizes on that. There's also a lot of the members have been asking for karaoke to come back. And we have quite a few. We have 3 or 4 karaoke DJs that have stepped up and would like to volunteer. So that's probably going to be in the works pretty soon. As far as line dancing, they would like to see the line dancing class come back. And we tabled that until next meeting, and there'll be more discussion on that. And the craft fair this year, they say there wasn't as much of a crowd as there was in past years, but at the end of the day, the majority of the vendors say they did okay with their sales. So that's good. And then we also have the Making Spirits Bright program that's the Adopt the Marines. And that is the little Christmas tree that's out in the lobby. I know that it was full with names, but it has been, just about all the names have been taken. She refilled it this Saturday. Oh, okay. See, that's great. Super. So, and there is a lot of other, Toys for Tots. There's a lot of things going on. MLCC has always been really generous in supporting all of our military families. So it'd be great to take a look at the tree and pull a name, and we appreciate it very much. And the Pool and Rec Committee wishes everyone happy holidays.
Great. All right, Strategic Planning Committee. Did you have anything prepared at all, Dave, for that?
Not at this time. We've got some fantastic applicants.
Hang on. Let's see if we can find out how to unmute.
You
Let's
don't
see.
have me? Not on my end. Might mention we just have some wonderful applicants, but we're going to do one more e-blast and invite more to apply.
Dave on you? Yes.
Do you have me yet? My screen shows that you are muted. Hey, Bill.
Because you were
My
getting a message
screen
up here.
shows that you're muted on your end. Okay. You might just mention, Bill, we've got some wonderful applicants, and we are going to do another e-blast, and just make sure that everybody had an opportunity to apply. But we probably have enough to fill the committee, but we'd love to have more applicants.
So another announcement. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll do it.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
It says like, well,
I
close.
talked to Dave.
It looks like I'm
Okay.
unmute. Am I unmuted?
Okay,
We have quite a few applicants for the strategic planning committee. They look
there it
very
is.
good.
That should be it.
But there also is gonna be another e-blast for looking for further applicants. That we'd like to have a large array of members on that committee. So that's what Dave wanted to pass on, and if anyone is interested, feel free to look for that e-blast and go see perhaps Eric and get an application.
Bill.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I
Is-
did just ask
Same
Bill.
thing.
I did it. I did it.
Is he on?
That's what it is
Bill,
Can
actually.
you- Nope.
So you'll need to.
Yep.
Oh,
Can you hear me, Bill? Can you hear me, Jim?
Trish, you know how to work this? It hasn't been approved yet. He's just discussing getting people together, right?
Am I still muted?
Correct.
Yeah. I think so.
Well, we're not getting anything anyway, so. All right. That's, he's not able to talk.
I think it's because we've had it before.
Oh, maybe not.
I mean, we're just.
He said it shows that we have it on.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Testing, am I on?
Okay, well anyways, let's move on. I believe we don't have any old business in here, but we do have some new business. So let's move forward to handle that. Oh, here it is. Okay, we had a request to change the rules and regulations to allow basically the head professional the discretion to allow play at any given time on the golf course. You know, if he wants to allow alternate shot, or if he wants to allow fivesomes, it would be determined by the head professional. So this was brought up, and so we actually have you, Steve. This is the one that you brought in. Do you want to go ahead and?
Sure, the regulation D right now says no fivesomes may be scheduled overseeding through May 31st. The head pro may, at his discretion, combine groups during play to make fivesomes, doing so does not slow down the overall pace of play. I simply changed that language with the head professional shall have the discretion to allow fivesomes if doing so does not slow down the overall pace of play. Special games, and this is the additional part, special games. Sure. The replacement language is the head professional shall have the discretion to allow fivesomes if so doing does not, if doing so does not slow down the overall pace of play. Special games such as alternative shot with 4 balls in play are allowed with the approval of the head professional. In that case, no more than 4 cards are allowed in the group, and play must not slow down. But must not slow down. We have a group that does this regularly, and of course it's become controversial, and I just want to open it up so that David, the head professional, has the authority to look out there and say, yeah, I can allow that. They're not slowing down play. There may be additional things that the head professional puts on there, like, it has to be after 10:33, something of that nature. So we'll leave that up to him. Pay him a lot, but give him the head charge that role, not him. So I'd like to make a motion that we make that change to the golf regulations and go up for 30 days.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Dave, you have to do a thumbs up or down on your vote. Okay, since we can't hear you. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay? Okay, then we'll go ahead and post it.
Let's put a 4 limit.
And this will be posted in the lobby for the 30 days before it would be implemented. Okay, next thing we have the 2022-23 earthquake insurance. Eric.
So this year's coverage ends on November 27th. We went out to bid for earthquake insurance. We used Hub last year. I went out from an insurance company. We used it Sunrise Country Club to get a bid. Anyways, the 2 bids came back. With LeVar and Oxy, we got a bid, or we got a bid of $63,206, and from our current policy for 2022-2023 came in at $76,207. With the new proposed policy, we did increase the values, and I'll get those values over to Hub as well, but we increased our values from $15,900,000 to $18,265,000. So both companies are very reputable, and like I said, I use LeVar and Ossey. They're a big HOA insurance company. They deal with the majority, if not 100% of their clients are all HOA homeowners associations throughout California and all over. But for the most part, so I'm recommending that we go with LeVar and Ossey for 2022-23 earthquake insurance.
Okay, somebody like to make that motion?
I'll make the motion that we sign on with these blokes. LeVar and Oxley Insurance, they're cheaper.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any
Dave's an aye.
opposed, nay? Okay,
Is there any?
no nay.
No.
Next thing we have is landscaping bids for common areas. There again, that would be Eric.
Sure. So for 2023, we use Pro Landscape outside our walls outside center median. They came in with a bid for 2023 of $4,499. La Paz Landscape came in with a bid of $4,600 per month. PWLC came in with $3,870 a month. Kirkpatrick, who also does the condos, came in with a bid of $4,100 per month. Not going back to Sunrise, but we had 746 units, $1.2 million budget with PWLC, and they were our landscapers for the last 3 years. I would just recommend them. One of the caveats here is we also went out to bid to maintain holes 3, 4, and 5 just on a monthly basis, weekly basis. We got a bid from Pro Landscape for $1,000. PWLC would do it for $650 for 4 hours a week with a crew of 4. And then Kirkpatrick came in with a $2,100 to take care of holes 3, 4, and 5. That's the desert skate areas. So just my recommendation is we have Pro Landscape this year for 2022. They went up to $4,499. That's what we put in the budget for 2023. That we go with PWLC for 1 year, $3,870 for the month, and then we would add in holes 3, 4, and 5 for $650. So that would be a recommendation.
Okay. Anybody want to make that motion?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Go ahead.
Second.
Yeah, I'll second.
Motion was to accept that bid.
Okay. All those in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, nay? Carries. Okay, now the big one, the 2023 MLCC operating and reserve budget. We are, yeah,
Like to make a motion to approve the 2023 operating budget for which was approved on November 15th. Amounts to a monthly dues of $426 and a assessment per member of $328.33 with option of monthly payments.
I'll second.
all right. All those in favor, we can do discussion first. That would probably be good, and then we can go ahead and vote on it.
Yeah, we have two, so you can discuss.
Yeah. So, anyways,
He's home.
uh,
Dave wants somebody to call him.
oh. Okay. One thing that I know a lot of people are concerned with, obviously around Christmas time, is extra money. One of the things we may want to consider is when we do start the actual assessment, to look at doing that possibly later, away from Christmas with the bills and all that kind of good stuff. I know in the several meetings that I attended, it was actually brought up, and I believe Connie even mentioned somewhere around April would be a good time to start this particular program, or May. So that would at least give people a chance to get through tax season, get through Christmas time, and then go ahead and start doing their assessment. One thing we do need to keep in mind, there is about a $3,500 interest fee or charge that's monthly. And so it would add about $20,000 to the balance. So we would not have, am I right, Connie? Oh, it's per year. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. I thought it was monthly that you guys were talking about it being impounded. Oh, okay, or compounded. Okay, so 3,500 a year is not very much.
So let me add to that. The objective here is yes, it'd be nice if you wrote a check for 328, but the reality is that yes, first of the year, getting everything hit. As remember, we got our trail fees, we got our dues, we got, I guess hangover for Christmas and those things. So if people want to start their payments and we were thinking March, April timeframe, ideally, we will have this paid off by June, and if we don't, then we have to issue another resolution for paying it off in the following year. It's a 1-year resolution. So, but the idea here is to save our membership as much money as possible. Not once we raise the dues, they don't go down. So if we were to charge this to your dues, I'm sure it would stay there for the full year, and it will just carry on to next year. So this is the most inexpensive method of paying for it.
Well, not to mention, we'd be paying 25% more
That's what I'm saying.
because of the reserve money. So it
Right.
doesn't make sense to do it any other way. This is the most economical way to do it for the membership.
Yeah, if you look at it just on a straight payoff, it would cost you $425 if you were just.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of 328, so it's $100.
Yeah.
But that's why we proposed it.
Anyways, do any of the other board members have anything that they'd like to add? Did Dave have anything he was good with?
Basically, Dave just wanted to clarify that its assessment is per household, it's not per member.
Right, per household,
Per
correct.
household.
Per household. Everything's always figured per household. And, yeah, not per member, my gosh.
Good point.
Yeah, so, anyways, let's go ahead and, let's do a vote on this, and unless anybody has anything else to say.
So what we're talking about is 426 dues.
Mhm.
And then a $328 special. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it's 426 dues, 328 special assessment.
Well, it might be with a little bit of interest if we do push it off. It might be 330, but we just need to be able to accept the fact that you know, it might increase that one single payoff unless
The resolution we found doesn't include interest, but you don't know. I didn't see the minutes from last year were not. So,
oh, okay.
to look and see if there's any further discussion. But it's a small amount. It's 30.
It's not big.
It's not.
So
we
it
can absorb that.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just could.
I would think so.
Indefinite in terms of when it started.
Stanley's on the phone again.
We can,
Clarify,
uh-huh,
when you vote, if you say an assessment that starts on a monthly basis on April 1st,
Mhm.
you'll have April payment, June payment, April, May, June payment, so you'll have paid off half of it. Your 1% interest is charged at the time that it comes due at the end of June. So that would be added back and rolled into balance of the assessment.
okay. Gotcha.
But if you vote on it, you will need to say an assessment starting on April 1.
Okay,
Whatever the date is.
sounds good.
But the intention though was to have it paid off by the end of June. That's right.
That was the initial, intention because of the resolution.
That's what's in the budget. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Jody?
Set a deadline for when the assessment needs to be paid instead of a start date, because for those of us who pay it right away, we'd like to, and that gets the amount down right away.
Mhm.
I think there's a fair number of people that would be able to pay it right away and want to get it done,
Sure.
and so set a deadline, not a start.
Yeah, and it would, the way we would have to do it is if we decided to push beyond June, we'd have to do a resolution. And at that point in time, we would, I mean, I would think that the end of the year would be the drop dead at the very latest, by December 1st.
So I think I like Jody's idea better. Let's just, if anybody wants to pay it on the 1st, they can pay it on the 1st, but it has to be paid by June. So anyway, everybody has 6 months from January 1st to June 1st to make their payment.
Exactly.
I think that's the way we should word it.
Well, does that sound reasonable to everybody? Okay,
Right? And not give them
June
until,
22nd.
don't give them until December.
June
Please.
22nd.
Have it done by June.
June 26th.
Let's
June
make it June.
26th.
Let's just make it June 1st. Let's just make it June 1st.
Yeah, because there's a question about
That was our intention.
So exactly.
it.
Yeah, Dave's trying to get through.
He's calling again.
why don't we put them on a microphone? Yeah,
Right, Russia.
sure.
I agree. Yeah, oh, I definitely will. Yeah. Hang on.
Well, that's a good point.
Yeah, and we deal with that every month as we're going through it anyway, so
Mhm.
it's something that we can tackle by the finance committee and first once you get that. But
Dave Stanley just brought up a point, just talked to him, and he's of the opinion that should start this. If we we don't get the ERC money, okay, by May 1st, then that's when we should start these payments. Because we start paying the checks now, we're just gonna have to refund back. So I kind of agree with Dave on that point, and I think we should have a start date of May 1st.
Ken? Go ahead.
I just want everybody to know that was not on the board when I did the analysis on the union pension payoff, where we were paying 7% monthly. We paid it off and we borrowed from our reserve because we would only pay 1% annually. So I want everybody to understand that to wait for the ERC, the board has committed that they will pay $10,000 a month to the loan. If we wait to the ERC, we still have an obligation to pay $10,000, which means we have to increase our operating budget to pay $10,000 to that loan. And if you increase your operating budget by $10,000, you have to increase it by another 23% so that goes to reserve. So be very understanding about what you're voting for when you say we're going to push it off and wait for the ERC, because there's no guarantee that ERC is ever coming, and you have to continue to make your payments based on what the previous board approved.
Dave's not going for
I have
that.
a question, basically $10,000 payments, is that reflected in June 20?
No.
Where is that reflected? Because it's not in the actual range.
It would be in the finance minutes.
I don't know, I'm not on the, but I know that was the agreement. We were paying,
It wouldn't have any standing.
we were paying $130,000 a year to the union. And they broke it down, Rebecca broke it down that we would pay $10,000 a month. And Brian agreed to that, and that's what we started doing. So I can't tell you, but I can tell you that was the premise.
But I don't think we actually did that. Because year over the first year of payments, the total balance. So if we put a 1% interest on it, no payments were paid, but all of it paid off in operating fund.
That was a choice. That was a choice I managed. Right. But the agreement was.
10,083.
I'm just trying to find the rates because it's not reflected.
So what's important here, if we go back to what started this whole thing, the board gave us a directive about what we wanted to do. We wanted to pay off this long-standing union pension, all like that. And we wanted to increase our reserve funds, right? We've all talked about that. We've talked about that for a long, long time, and we're doing that. And we're reducing our unneeded spending. And we want to provide sufficient operating funds. We've talked about that over and over and over. We don't have enough money in our operating funds to take the hills and valleys of our invoices that are coming in. And we don't, and everyone has talked about we're not paying our suppliers. We have suppliers that we're not paying out to 60, 90, 80 days, 90 days, because we didn't have the funds. So that's part of this whole thing, is that what we're hoping to do here, coupled with one other thing I haven't talked about, and we want to create this capital fund. For that parking lot out there is a great example. We can pay for that parking lot without having to go and try to find some way of getting funds out of our reserve account. And so we don't have any funds to pay for that parking lot. I'm just going to say that. So, and couple this all with the stuff with the managers, but it's important that we have taken a tough line here. What we're trying to do is accommodate a number of these, all of these within this budget. And we're also understanding that we as a club, we do not have to transfer our reserve funds to the reserve on January 1st or February 1st or we have the ability to wait and delay our contribution. What that does is allow us to build up some working capital. And then, and once we have that working capital, we can start making our payments. Our requirement is, what?
Dave Stanley's trying to get through because he really wants to talk. That's what we're trying to do. He's tried to, he wants to be able to talk.
And put the speakerphone up to the mic when Bill's done.
Okay.
Yeah, and hey, Sam, put him on speaker and then put him up on the
Yeah.
microphone.
Yeah, that's what you do.
So I will finish this, and the thinking from the finance committee was that, yes, we do not know if the ERC money is coming or when that ERC money is coming. But what we do know is we have obligations to pay these bills. So we have an obligation to our membership to be prudent with our operating funds. And it benefits this corporation to build up a reserve. This benefits us all. So if the ERC money comes, that allows us to put money into the capital budget, and it also allows us to keep some money in the operating fund as we target it to 5%. And that's the whole idea of this. And we thought it was much more cleaner to do an assessment. It's $328 to make this go in this amount that we owe the reserve fund and get it paid off. And to pay it off, allow 6 months to pay it off, $54. Otherwise, we could go back to the original thing and we would be paying
$475.
we would be paying in the range of $449. That's what your monthly payment will be, and it will never go away. So you can choose to pay $426 and plus the $328, or you can spend $449 for the whole year.
See, just for the record, Rebecca didn't know how to do it correctly, but if you look at the 2022 budget in golf course maintenance, you will see $130,000 budgeted to pay back the union. And it doesn't show, it's already been booked. So it didn't get rebooked, but it was set aside so that we would be able to money. So that's a verification that that's how it's.
And the board approved the budget, so that's where the minutes approved that budget. That's where you find it.
You ready to talk?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
I'm
Stan
gonna-
would like to have a word.
I'm gonna mute
Go
my.
ahead, Dave.
Can you hear me okay?
Try it again.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. You know, we've spoke to this point quite a few times, and I think that the spirit of accepting this, I need to mute this. The spirit of accepting this assessment was with the idea that we would table any payments from the membership until, say, April or May 1st, see if the federal government comes through with any RC money, and that would limit the amount of money that the membership would have to pay out of their pocket. Now, I think we're kind of talking apples and oranges, Bill. I thought everybody agreed this was not a method of developing that capital reserve that we need, that capital, operating capital. I mean, I can't even wrap my head around the fact that the club tries to operate with no capital. I'm in 100% agreement with Bill, just maybe a little different on how we get there. But we've asked for a long time to see the original document for the loan payback. But for some reason, it's been extremely hard for the club to get their hands on it. And if that $10,000 is not named in the mandatory monthly fee, I don't see the problem, and I don't believe that Connie's concern is probably accurate. I think we could probably table that $10,000. We don't need to have any payments for this employee pension fund loan during the period of time that we're waiting to either make an assessment or get the ERC money. But I think it's really fair to the membership that if we do not have to extract $330 some from them because we get this $400 some or $400,000 for the federal government or whatever part of that we get in time, that would mean we wouldn't have to exercise such a large amount on that assessment.
Steve, on the resolution, isn't that there an agreement that we can pay?
Well, the
monthly-
resolution refers to the payment, not the payment plan. It refers to a plan for how to deal with the outstanding balance.
Right, but I thought we
But it
had
doesn't
to
give
make a
the plan.
payment.
It doesn't name any specifics. It just talks about that it will be renewed for 1 year from the date of the transfer, not the date of the sign.
Mhm.
So, I'm sorry, but it refers to that there is a plan out there by form.
Yeah, and I thought the plan was is that we were paying that off monthly, according to what the original resolution was that we had approved.
Right, because when we did do it, the option, the controller paid the other loan first.
Right.
I mean, that was a choice, and that was really a violation of that plan.
Yeah, I just was under the impression that we were.
That violation is,
Yeah.
you know, if we're allowed to do that.
I need to say something. You know, our recommendation is our recommendation, and it's based on a lot of work, a lot of studies, on a lot of assessments about what is best for what we think is best for the club. We said properly fund the budget, not overfunded, not underfunded, properly funded, and make Mission Lakes Country Club a healthy corporation. And a healthy corporation has these funds, has a healthy reserve fund, has the ability to have funds in operating so they can pay their bills. And ERC money is great. It came out of operating, and it needs to go back into operating in our capital funds. I'm sorry, but this is our recommendation to the board to make our club healthy again.
Well, I would just challenge a couple of things there. The ERC or the employee retention credit. Gosh, darn, just a second here. I got to mute this. Okay, that pension payout money did not come from operating money. It came from the reserve fund. So that is not completely accurate. Although I agree 100% that we need to have these operating funds. We are talking about using this ERC money for the operating funds, and I thought that we had a fairly clear approach that we were going to attempt to wait it out and use that in lieu of this assessment on May 1. Now, I'm fully prepared to vote for this budget today if those payments don't start until May 1. And then at that point in time, if the ERC funds have not come through, this assessment gets made in full.
So I just like to tell you, going back to when we looked at paying off the unit, we took the agreement that had been signed by Eddie Baxter when he was the president to pay it off.
So difficult.
And when we brought it to the board for approval to pay it off and to borrow from our own reserve, it was based on repayment in the same manner in which we were paying the unit. We were paying quarterly at that time. And Rebecca, who was our controller at the time, said, it's easier for her from a cash flow basis that we would pay it on a
Right.
monthly basis. So that was what was done. Now, there was some months that it did not happen, but it was all on the basis of the original contract with the union. So if you need documentation, you can go back and look at that. The other thing, and I don't know this for sure, but it is my interpretation as a financial person that if the ERC from the IRS is to pay us back for costs that we had during COVID, that would be operating, it would not be reserved. It would be money that we spent to pay our employees to continue to work, to retain our employees, even if they weren't working. So that's operating expenses that we incurred. And if the ERC comes back, I mean, if we get money as an ERC, it's only logical from a financial standpoint that it's operating, it is not reserve funds.
Okay,
Dave's ready.
Well, I think most people would recognize anybody that got PPP money or got employee retention credit money who did not lose that much money. So I'll guarantee you that the massive portion of that ERC money is absolutely unrealized in the cost that the club incurred during COVID. Same with the PPP. This was a big handout if we all want to be accurate about what it was. And as far as how we use those funds, we have the latitude to put those funds anywhere when we receive them. We're not mandated by the federal government that they go into one bucket or another. So I can understand your thought on the spirit of that, Connie, but I just, you know, if you looked at the dollars and cents, we're getting a lot of free money on that ERC money. We just are. It was just like anybody that got PPP. So I sympathize. Bill and I have spoke to this lack of operating funds. It never ceases to amaze me that we try and operate a budget of that size down there with no money, leaning on the membership to make their payments on time. And every September, every August, September, we run into a money crunch. No, I can totally appreciate it. I just think, the finance committee had an opportunity to develop operating funds with a line item. It did not show up on the budget. But all of a sudden at the 12th hour, we're talking about using the ERC money as a slush fund for operating funds, which in a perfect world, I would be all in favor of that, but not when I've asked the membership to dig $330 out of their pocket. And then the next month we get a windfall from the federal government and we go, whoops, gosh, I guess we didn't have to ask for it. I don't see how we can get there. I can't reconcile that.
okay, well, we need to move forward on the vote. So, right, and we can start it when we want to start it and put an end to it when, so, correct. Correct. So one thing we just need to keep in mind, guys, is if we do extend it past June, that we do have to do another resolution to.
Yeah, no, I won't vote for that. It's got to be paid June 1st. I don't care if they don't have to pay it until May 1st, but it has to be paid by June 1st. So I would say any time between January and June 1st.
So that's okay. So we have one recommendation by Jaime to start January 1st. You have the option to pay at any time within that particular window of January to June. Just that would have to be completely paid off by June 1st.
Right.
So that is one idea on the table. Does anybody else have anything else? It's pretty much basically what's there with what was put there
I just
by the
have
budget.
a question. Am I still on?
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. So if I pay my $330 some January 1, Jaime and I and everybody And then February 17th, 217,000 comes trickling in on the ERC money. Are you suggesting that we're going to pay the membership back? Are we just going to scrap that whole idea and just decide right now, it doesn't matter if the ERC money comes through this year in time to make that payment or not? We're not going to refund the money back to the membership of this club. Is that where we're going as a board?
Yeah, I think that's where we're at.
That's what we're looking at doing. Dave will put it back into operating funds and a capital account that would benefit the club.
So you can wait till the 31st if that's what you're just all.
Well, one thing that we, I guess we do need to look at too, and that is, you can make the payment whenever you want. So if you want to, I mean, if you want to pay it January 1st, or if you want to wait till to June 1st, you can pay the $328 whenever you want to do it. Or if you want to make payments, you can figure that out too as well.
So I'm just going to beat this thing one more time. I want to be absolutely clear to the membership. So this board is deciding that 400 and some thousand ERC money is 100% at the board's discretion to go into the operating fund, and we are going to ask the membership for 330 some or whatever, in spite of the fact that we're going to get that from the federal government. Is that what the board is saying?
Well, and I think one of the other things, I think if we had a finite date when we knew we were going to get it, that would be one thing. But we don't even know if we're going to get it. And I think one thing all of us know, and that is with the last one, they sent us a letter out, and then it took them a good 4 or 5 months later to be able to pay us the money.
No, well, this doesn't have anything to do with when we're going to get it. Let's just be honest about it. This doesn't have anything to do with when we're going to get it. If it had anything to do with when we were going to get it, you would either A, refund people's money, or B, you would wait to extract that money from the membership with 6 or 7 months available for this ERC money to come in from the federal government. So let's just lay it out there the way it is and state we'd rather have that 400,000 in operating money, which would be phenomenal, but we're just straight up going to ask the membership for 330 some regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way around that. I think that's where we're at.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and let's go ahead and move forward and vote. Put this thing to bed. Okay. Let's get.
Have we resolved the $10,000 a month payment? Are we doing that or not?
No, because we can pick payments. They'll get payments right away.
Yeah, we're gonna.
I mean, quite honestly, I think a lot of us are just going to write a check out and be done with it. Yes. Yeah,
we do have.
Yeah, actually, the motion is to approve the budget the way the budget is written, and for the amounts that are in each line item, and to approve those. Is that basically, and the assessment to be paid by June 1st and to commence, I guess, January 1st. Yeah.
So if what I'm hearing now, Jim, is we're going to approve that budget the way it's written, there's a policy issue involved in this on the 2-class trail fee.
That has nothing to do with the budget. It doesn't matter.
Maybe
The budget
doesn't until we approve it as written. Because it's in the budget, it's spelled out how that money is coming in.
It does not. It's a line item that says trail fees. If you read the budget, the line item that says trail fees says $203,000 and some odd dollars. We're approving the budget line item by line item. We're not talking about how we're getting the money. We're just talking about the budget.
We're not talking about the policy of how we achieve the amount on that line item. That will be discussed later. But the line item itself
We're approving the dollars.
is only thing we're approving is the dollars, not the
Correct.
policy.
Well, when we said as written, I'm kind of a stickler, so that's why I had to ask.
That they do not have any breakdown on any line item above and beyond what it is. So that's what we're approving. Okay. So we're strictly approving the budget the way it was brought towards us in the pro forma. So, yes,
So does that mean if you approve the budget, but you change what the recommendation has been from the finance committee, that you will not hold David Goldstein to his budget because you've changed the policy that we promoted?
no, David Goldstein is getting exactly the same dollars. He's not getting any different. He's getting exactly the same.
It's pretty clear what was on the table. Yay or nay?
What's going on? Okay. So we have a motion on the floor and we have a second by, I believe, Susan. Were you the one that seconded it? Oh, you seconded it. Okay, so we'd like to go ahead and approve the budget the way it was written. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay.
Nay.
So we have five ayes, one nay. Budget's approved for 2003. All right. I've got to pick a number and then we can adjourn this thing. There's no sign-up sheet?
You know, I could have voted for it. All they had to do is.
There is no sign-up sheet? Oh, there is, okay.
It's crooked.
So we have sign-up sheet.
In their little meeting.
Okay, I'm gonna pick a number. It is number 11.
Dollar amount for that.
Two number ones. Hey! There you go. Miss Holly King.
Wow.
And this meeting is adjourned.
We have an executive now.
They came up with that dollar.
I'm sorry, please tell me.
I
Set.
No executive session. No executive session.
You heard your points.
Okay.
Not vote the policy. That's different. That's different.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna do that.
Scare attack.
I thought we were gonna.
Oh, get down there. Sorry, I'm sorry. I am. It does. I'm proud of you. And by the way, sorry. Right, very good. Dollars is very sorry.
Bill. There you go. Well, it's done. Oh.
Are you sitting out there watching it on Zoom? Are you sitting out there watching it on Facebook?